Welcome to Tampa Theater, where it never gets old. My name's Jill Witecki, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Tampa Theater. You know, this beautiful historic movie palace has been a cherished Tampa landmark ever since it opened to the public in 1926. Today, Tampa Theater hosts more than 600 events a year, including new movies, classic films, field trips, corporate events, weddings, tours, and more. But this spring, we are pleased to be introducing a brand new series to the Tampa Theater lineup, the Family Favorites Classic Movie Series presented by Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. Stay tuned. In just a moment, I will reintroduce you to some of the films that won our hearts as children, and now Tampa Theater is excited to be presenting to an entirely new generation of families. The first movie in our lineup is The Princess Bride, showing at 2 p.m. Sunday, April 7th. Originally released in 1987, The Princess Bride is a beloved classic fairy tale which begins with a grandfather reading his favorite book to his grandson, who's played by a young Fred Savage. The story, grandfather promises, has everything: fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, even miracles. All of which comes to life as his grandfather reads the adventures of Princess Buttercup and her true love, Wesley. And with all of that fencing, fighting, and torture going on, is it any surprise that the cast suffered several injuries during filming? In the scene where Count Rugen hits Wesley over the head, actor Cary Elwes told Christopher Guest to go ahead and hit him for real. Unfortunately, Guest hit him so hard, it had to shut down production for the day while Elwes went to the hospital. But when Elwes later broke his toe shooting scenes on the top of a high grassy slope, he refused to delay the shoot with another trip to the emergency room. So in the film, watch when he's running into the swamp, and you can see him limping. Mandy Patinkin, who played the often quoted Inigo Montoya, claims that the only injury he sustained during the production was a bruised rib due to stifling his laughter in his scenes with Billy Crystal. Even director Rob Reiner often had to leave the set during Billy Crystal's scenes because he would laugh so hard that he would feel nauseated. The Princess Bride is rated PG.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable!
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Our next film is Babe, showing at 2 p.m. Sunday, April 14th. Babe is a touching story of triumph in which a shy Yorkshire piglet doesn't quite know his place in the world until Farmer Hoggett, played by Oscar nominee James Cromwell, wins him at the county fair. The little pig is quickly adopted by the farm's resident border collie and discovers that he can be anything he wants to be, even a champion sheep pig. While the human actors in Babe occasionally have their say, dialogue between the animals accounts for more than 80% of the soundtrack. The production had 56 animal trainers on set to handle nearly 1,000 live animals, including the 48 piglets who play the title character. Why so many? Because baby pigs grow so fast, and the team had to keep training new little babes to cover a shooting schedule that lasted 6 months. A makeup artist was specifically responsible for creating tiny toupees and false eyelashes for each of the piglets to keep them all looking the same. An animatronic puppet was also created, and photos of the snout were manipulated through computer digitalization to make the pig appear to talk. In fact, Babe won a visual effects Oscar for its amazingly realistic talking animals and was nominated for 6 other Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Director, and Screenplay. Babe is rated G.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Our next film is the 1971 classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We'll be showing it at 2 p.m. Sunday, April 21st. In the original film adaptation of Roald Dahl's novel, a poor little boy named Charlie finds a golden ticket and wins a visit to a mysterious and magical chocolate factory with his grandfather. During the whirlwind tour of Wonka's incredible edible world of chocolate waterfalls, elfish Oompa Loompas, and life-size candy confections, Charlie discovers that the entire experience is a test of his character, and that the sweetest secret of all is a generous, loving heart. During filming, director Mel Stewart wanted the action to be as authentic and spontaneous as possible. For example, when the children first enter the chocolate room and see the candy gardens, their reactions of delight are real. It really was their first view of that particular part of the set. And in Willie's office at the end of the movie, Charlie's stunned reaction to the candy maker yelling at him is also real. The young actor Peter Ostrom was not told beforehand that Willie would be yelling at Charlie. And although Gene Wilder did enjoy surprising the children with Willy Wonka's unpredictable antics, he felt bad about that particular scene, as he and Peter had become buddies on set, often eating lunch together and finishing the meal by sharing a chocolate bar for dessert. Actually, after his role as Charlie Bucket, Peter Ostrom never made another film and later became a veterinarian. Willy Wonka is rated G.
If you're not greedy, you will go far. You will live in happiness too. Like the Oompa Loompa Doompa-dee-doo. Doompa-dee-doo.
Our next film, one of my personal favorites, is Annie. We'll be showing it at 2 p.m. Sunday, April 28th. Little Orphan Annie is a plucky, red-haired girl who dreams of life outside her dreary orphanage until she is chosen to stay for 1 week with the famous billionaire Daddy Warbucks. As 1 week turns into many, the only person standing in the way of Annie's dream of a new family is Miss Hannigan and her scam artist brother. The film adaptation of the Broadway musical is based on the Little Orphan Annie comic strip and has a star-studded cast that features Albert Finney as Daddy Warbucks, the hilarious Carol Burnett as Miss Hannigan, Tim Curry as her brother Rooster, and Bernadette Peters as Rooster's girlfriend Lily. But there are just as many stars that weren't cast in the film. The role of Annie went to a young unknown actress named Eileen Quinn, who beat out Drew Barrymore, Elizabeth Berkley, and Kristen Chenoweth for the part. Bette Midler was offered the role of Miss Hannigan, but she declined. And Jack Nicholson was originally signed on to play Daddy Warbucks, but he dropped out after the film's original producer left. Mick Jagger really wanted to play Rooster Hannigan, a role that eventually went to Tim Curry, but only after Steve Martin turned it down when he learned he'd be playing opposite Bernadette Peters, whom he was breaking up with at the time. Annie is rated PG. Our next film is The Muppet Movie, showing at 2 p.m. Sunday, May 5th. Steve Martin did end up in our next family favorite. The Muppet Movie is a cross-country adventure that tells the humble beginnings of the Muppets' fame, which all began with a rainbow, a song, and a frog. After meeting a big-time talent agent, Kermit the Frog heads for Hollywood with his friends Fozzie Bear, the Great Gonzo, and Miss Piggy to break into showbiz. But when Kermit crosses paths with fast food tycoon Doc Hopper, he narrowly escapes becoming part of a French fried frog leg franchise. The Muppet Movie was the first live-action film to feature the Muppets, and creator Jim Henson was determined to use the larger feature film budget to push the technological limits of puppetry. Before this, no movie had ever had a hand puppet's entire body appear on screen. Usually they were only seen from the waist up. But it was a major plot point to show Kermit with legs, walking, dancing, and even riding a bicycle. To achieve that effect, a Kermit doll was attached to the seat with his legs and arms attached to the pedals and handlebars. An overhead crane held the bicycle on strings that were invisible to the camera and guided it like a marionette. The illusion of Fozzie driving a Studebaker was achieved by having the puppeteers lie in the seat and floor of the car while the real driver piloted the car via remote control from the trunk, using a television monitor to guide his steering. But perhaps the most challenging bit of puppetry was Kermit's performance of the film's famous song, The Rainbow Connection. It took 3 Kermits to do the scene, one of which was mechanized to strum the banjo. As the puppeteer, Jim Henson squeezed into a specially designed metal container fitted with an air hose to breathe and a rubber sleeve to work the Kermit puppets. And he spent 5 days underwater filming that unforgettable scene. The Muppet movie is rated G.
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da, la da da dee da doo.
The Never-Ending Story will be shown at 2 p.m. Sunday, May 12th. When young Bastian borrows a mysterious book, he never dreamed that turning a page would draw him into a fantasy world of racing snails, hang glider bats, soaring luck dragons, a childlike empress, and a slab-faced walking rock-biter, where he must fight to save the Empire of Fantasia from a nemesis called the Nothing. The Never-Ending Story was shot mostly in Germany in the summer of 1983, their hottest summer in 25 years. So hot, in fact, that one of the models of the Ivory Tower actually melted during production. At the time, it was also the most expensive film ever produced in Germany, and was the first English-language film for director Wolfgang Petersen, who went on to direct such blockbusters as In the Line of Fire, Outbreak, and Air Force One. One of the film's most memorable characters is the young warrior Atreyu, played by Noah Hathaway. In the novel on which the movie is based, Atreyu's character has green skin, but when the makeup team tried to recreate the effect, it just wasn't convincing on camera. According to the actor, it looked like fungus. Before filming began, Hathaway spent several months in England learning horsemanship and how to ride bareback for the role. Despite all of the training, though, he was injured during production when he was thrown off his horse and trampled. But as the touching scene in the Swamp of Sadness would suggest, Atreyu and Artax the horse made up, and after finishing the movie, the horse was presented to Hathaway as a gift. Today, Noah Hathaway owns and operates a tattoo parlor in Los Angeles with his wife. The Never-Ending Story is rated PG.
That's so good.
Wrapping up the family favorites series is the out-of-this-world blockbuster, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. We'll be showing it at 2 p.m. Sunday, May 19th. When a meek and alienated little boy finds a stranded extraterrestrial, he has to find the courage to defy the authorities with his brother Michael, sister Gertie, and the neighborhood kids to help E.T. find a way back home. Released in 1982, director Steven Spielberg's E.T. quickly became the highest-grossing movie of all time worldwide, a record it held on to until Spielberg's Jurassic Park came out 11 years later. At the auditions, 10-year-old Henry Thomas thought about the day his dog died to conjure up genuine feelings of sadness as he read for the role of Elliot. Spielberg was so touched by the performance that he cried and hired Henry on the spot. It was important to Spielberg to bring a child's perspective to the film, and he shot most of the scenes from a child's eye level to help audiences connect with E.T. and Elliot. In fact, with the exception of Elliot's mom, no adults' faces are even shown on screen until the second half of the film. E.T. is also credited as the first film to use product placement. The filmmakers had originally asked if M&Ms could be used to lure E.T., but the Mars Candy Company denied the request. Reese's Pieces were used instead, and sales skyrocketed. As a result, companies started requesting that their products be used prominently in movies, and a new type of soft-sell advertisement was born. E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial is rated PG. Thanks for joining me behind the red curtain at Tampa Theater. I hope to see you and your family here at Tampa's Grand Movie Palace soon for the Family Favorites Classic Movie Series, sponsored by Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. For Tampa Theater, I'm Jill Witecki.